Hello, everybody. I hope everybody had a great week. I enjoyed watching your videos. I'd like to first start out by saying that, yes, Revelation does have a lot of symbolism in it, and it is a hard book to understand, as most of us had kind of touched on, and it is kind of an overwhelming book to take a look at. But most of us seem to touch on the fact that there's a lot of symbolism within Revelation. And Todd, you mentioned that we need to take a look at the genre when we look at the book of Revelation. And yeah, I think we all picked really good passages of Scripture to expound on as far as in our videos. And so great job, everyone. And I'd like to now move on to this week's question, which is select one of the New Testament debates that you have learned about this week. How do you see this occurring in your current context? Or how does this debate affect you personally? Maybe you have noticed how people debating this issue in your church, family, workplace, community, or broader culture. Then explain how you would respond to this debate. Well, first off, I'd like to say that, I chose the authority of the New Testament as my debate that I'd like to focus on in this video. And I noticed in the introduction of this that it talked about how we have denominational boundaries and how there's man and experience centered when it comes to the authority of the New Testament. And there's... I then went on to read about how, we talked about the meaning of religious authority and how the difference between hard authority and soft authority within this essay. And I talked about interpretation and authority within the Bible, talked about the differences between external authority versus internal authority and how Christianity is balanced, the balanced Christianity of word, spirit, and church. And then we talked about in this, the interpretation and authority today, I talked about how the importance of norms within the context of interpretation of authority within today, and how authority and norm are closely related. There's a link between historical person and activity of Jesus Christ. And then we went on to talk about the status of the canon, and pardon me, I didn't mean to say it like that, but no, the status of the canon, which is obviously the Bible, and how Scripture bears witness to the saving acts of God. And then we went on to talk about the development of doctrine and how doctrine is important for the church, as well as in the incarnation and Trinity, and the Bible is the framework of interpretation. And then we talked about the permanent and temporary factors, and how the Pauline churches live under grace, and church order is the secondary question, and that no one is given form of order and ministry in the New Testament. Principles of human nature, human conduct, and human relationships don't change from age to age, and how we have to dialogue with scriptures. We have to allow them to shape our presuppositions. And in the conclusion of this, it talks about how God works through all sorts of means, and the New Testament has once and for all authority, and how the Bible has been given to us for eternal principles. So, just wanted to give a brief synopsis, a quick synopsis there of a quick outline there. So, with all that being said, how is this? How do I see this occurring in our current context, or how does this debate affect you personally? Well, I do think that Jesus came to fulfill the law, fulfill the Old Testament. He came to complete what needed to be completed. I think that the Lord came to fulfill Scripture, fulfill what needed to be done, and we see that through his cross and resurrection. And I think the authority of the New Testament is really important. I think, but yes, I do think there's denominational boundaries, and because we all interpret and see the Bible differently as human beings. But yeah, I think there's a balance though between hard authority and soft authority. I don't think it's one or the other. And we do need a balance of word, spirit, and church, a balanced Christianity. I don't think it's one extreme or the other. And yeah, I think that the Bible is Scripture does bear witness to the saving acts of God, and we have to place the Bible as the authority. But I don't think it rules out the old and the new. I think the old and new are equally important. But yes, we are New Testament believers. But yeah, and doctrine is important for the church, and we do have to look at the incarnation and the Trinity of Father, Son, and Spirit. And I think that's very important. So with all that being said, the Bible is our framework of interpretation. That's how we base everything off of. And yes, and I do not see our principles of human nature, human conduct, and human relationships not changing from age to age. So yes, I really enjoyed this particular chapter. I think it brought out a lot there. And so yeah, I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to viewing your videos. Take care. Bye.